In today's podcast, I sit down with my friend and coach, Aaron Cuha, with the Tom Ferry Network. We're going to have an event October 27th. You're all invited. Make sure to RSVP at rsvp@ronival.com. We're going to talk about what we're going to do for real estate agents at the event. And if you're struggling in your business and you want some pointers, listen to the podcast. But even more importantly, come to the event itself. If you go to the event, you enter into a raffle and you can win a free 30-minute private one-on-one session with Tom Ferry himself. I'll see you at the event. All right, Aaron, you made it back to the Baja.
Glad to be home.
I wanted you to, it's right before a hurricane. Tonight, tomorrow, Norma is gonna come through. I wanted you right before the hurricane because next week on Friday, we're having a special event for real estate agents. For those of you that don't know who Aaron Cuha is, Aaron, can you tell everyone what you do for a living?
Sure. Nice to meet everybody. My name is Aaron Cuha. I'm a coach, speaker, and team mastery coach for Tom Ferry. In the past, I've owned mortgage companies, real estate companies, both all around the U.S. with thousands of employees. And I'm Nick's personal coach. And the team. They're excited that you're in town, and I wanted to recreate a little bit of what we did with Tom back in May. And that was a very successful event where probably 150 agents, I'm hoping to get 200 agents on Friday to come out to Rancho Gaspareño. It's one of our beautiful beachfront listings, and it's a great setting for real estate agents to get ready for our high season. As you know, the high season starts at the end of October, beginning of November, and it goes for 5-6 months, really strong. But what I've seen in the last 2 months in our real estate market, tell me if this is happening in the States, but there's been a slowdown. And interest rates over several months have been increasing. So what is it in your opinion, because you coach over 70 clients, what should real estate agents be doing today to be prepared for this new market? I think that's a great question. I think we've definitely seen a slowdown in real estate across the board. I have clients in Prague and Africa and Australia, but predominantly in the USA. But my agents that are doing the activities that they need to do in order to keep the business that they expect, they're not slowing down. So, Tom's got a famous saying that, what you did before is not going to get you, and what got you there is not going to get you here in the new year. Mm-hmm. And he's right. So, in a market that has historically, let's say, slowed 30% because of a lack of inventory in the U.S., my agents that have increased their prospecting and increased their marketing and stepped up, they're on par or even above par this year because they've done the activities that they need to. When you add on top of that, 30% of the agents, NAR says they're going to leave the industry this year, and I think already 20% have. There's a gap and some openings for quite a bit more business if you're doing the activities. Right. Most agents, I hate to say it, crawl under their desk and cry and complain and don't focus on learning the skills and doing the efforts that they need to do to stay busy.
We've been getting contacted by new agents, people that don't have real estate experience wanting to get started in the industry. I really think this event's going to be good for them also because I think, like you were saying, maybe 30% of the existing real estate agents leave the industry because they're not making the money that they thought they were going to make or what they actually did make over the last few years. But then you have a new blood, a new birth of real estate agents. What would you give in terms of advice for someone that wants to get into the industry but has no real estate experience?
Listen, it's really simple for most real estate agents, new, old. We have what's called fading winners. We have young, aggressive agents. But if you do the activities, if you join team per se, because and you are held to a higher standard, and you do the activities that you need to do every day, whether it's prospecting, whether it's social media, whether it's video, you're going to be busy. And I would tell most of my agents that starting today is the best time to start, because if you start today in a market that we're in today and you become successful in your first year, your 12 or 24 months, as our market changes and gets better, you're going to be very successful. We have a mortgage company back in the States, and we've been getting ready to launch a new product, and the people that I'm talking to are like, well, why would you do that now? And I'm like, because if we can be successful now, when rates come down, we're going to dominate.
Right.
There's business to be had today if you are disciplined and if you're working with the right team.
Right. Okay. So if I actually agree with you, because most companies are birthed in a down market. There's more opportunity. When people are leaving, you want to go the opposite way. You want to enter into the market. And it's important to start off on the right foot if you don't have that experience. And so teaming up with people that have the experience, surrounding yourself around people that can educate you and you can learn from is really important. And so that's what we're hoping to recreate or create come Friday at Rancho Gaspareño. So not only the ultra experienced real estate agents, medium experienced, even the non-experienced, people that aren't real estate agents. If you're a real estate agent or aspiring agent, what would you say are the key characteristics that you must have to be successful?
The key characteristics for a successful agent just is the drive to stay active, right? The ability to do the activities that you need to do and not get lazy. Mm-hmm. So I would say if you are able to manage time and hold yourself to a higher standard, you're going to be successful in this industry. New, medium, old, all of them. Mm-hmm. It's very, very common for the older agents to fade and like I said, become a fading winner. Somebody who has a lot of success and they're just like, well, I'm not willing to do all these things anymore because I deserve more. And they have to learn the hard way. You have to have a breakdown to have a breakthrough, and they get to the very bottom. Mm-hmm. And then they start doing the activities that they need to do. They start learning, they're studying, and they become busy again. Mm-hmm. But it's the same for a brand new agent. Learn the market as well as you can. Learn your skills to the top of your ability, mm-hmm. and hold yourself or be held accountable by your team or your team leader or even your spouse, mm-hmm. or with some of you, your coach.
Right. How important is having a mentor or coach in your opinion?
If you're new, it's crucial, right? Because there's these 4 levels of learning, this unconscious incompetence, and that's how they start. They don't understand that they don't understand. Mm-hmm. And they immediately realize, especially in a market like Mexico, mm-hmm. where you don't have any idea how title is held and how contracts are done. So you immediately get to that second level of conscious incompetence, and you're like, holy crap, I know some of this, but there's a lot I don't know. Right. So by having a great mentor that's leading you the proper way, it's not only keeping you from getting in trouble, but it's making your mindset stronger. It's giving you growth, because otherwise you're in this fixed mindset of I'm always confused. I don't know what I'm doing. And by having a great mentor, you're on your way to learning the right way from the start and being successful.
Do you think you could be successful without a coach and mentor?
Listen, I think everything's possible, but I think all you're doing is slowing it down. So if you were to start with no coach and mentor, you have to figure out what you need to do. You have to figure out what you need to learn. You don't have the access to Ronival University, and you don't have the access to somebody who's going to teach you the right way. So you're going to have to make a lot more mistakes and possibly have a lot more lessons in those mistakes. And those lessons and mistakes will have an effect on your mindset and put you into this fixed mindset, and it'll be harder to overcome. Mm-hmm. So what I tell all brand new agents is the best thing for you is to get on a team, to learn the right way and to work your way up, right, to become an expert.
Right.
In the US, here, in Australia, everywhere. It doesn't matter.
All right. So if you're not ultra experienced, you're not new, but you've been in the industry for a couple of years. You've seen a great real estate market, and now you're struggling because you're selling less than half of what you did before. What do you say to those agents?
Well, once again, those agents are probably primed to either go outside their comfort zone and step up what their daily activities are, step up what their spend is. Historically, when we see a change in the market, most people, their tendency is to cut back. Like, okay, I'm going to stop spending this. I'm going to stop marketing this. I'm going to stop doing this. When the reality is that they have to double down, right? Or else they're going to just go in a spiral downhill. So if they don't have the skills, or if they don't have the discipline or the budget to really, really step up, they have to find a partnership.
Right.
They have to go somewhere, especially in this market. Don't get me wrong. If our market turns and we turns into a 21 and 22 again, my dog could make money in real estate back then. Right. I could literally teach my dog. The old thing that I used to tell people is I could get my dog a loan back in the day, right? Because I'll just say he's a foreign national and they would do it. Well, that's kind of how real estate was. It was kind of like in 21 and 22 during COVID, it was the Wild West. Right. All you had to do is put real estate agent on your Facebook and you were getting deals.
Right.
It's just not that way anymore.
Right. So they need to up the effort, up the amount of time, and if possible, money investing into your career and all the things that will generate business and convert business.
Absolutely.
So, you were mentioning skills. How important are skills? And how do you get more skills, and how do you get your existing skills better?
I would say skills are probably the most important thing that any new or newer 1 to 3 year real estate agent needs to work on. Mm-hmm. And I'll give you a great example. If I'm getting leads from somewhere, or if I'm getting referrals somewhere, and I don't have the knowledge or the intelligence or the skill set to have a great conversation with them, my conversion rate is going to be significantly lower. So in a declining market, if my conversion rate for potential leads is in the single digit percentages, it's going to have a huge effect on me. Whereas if I'm able to have a conversation fluidly, the whole Malcolm Gladwell tipping point, I have mastery in it, my conversion rate is going to be through the roof. So when I started in real estate, I think I was about 120 conversations to an appointment. Mm-hmm. But 3 years later, I was 20 conversations to appointment. So if you're talking about skills and we're talking me, I was maybe 70%. It was all expireds for listing appointments to listings taken. There's a big difference between me setting 6 appointments in 120 conversations and 1, especially when I'm 2 listings for every 3 appointments that I go on. Mm-hmm. It can be the difference between being very successful and withering on a vine and dying.
Okay, so skills will allow you to achieve your goals faster. And if you don't have the skills, you were mentioning earlier the disappointment and the frustration, and I think that leads to the 30% that exit the market. Yeah.
So your skill, think of it this way. If every time I have a conversation with somebody, they leave that conversation thinking, wow, this person's really intelligent and he really understands real estate and really understands my market, and I want to work with him, whether I'm working with him today or in the future, what's that going to do for your mindset?
Right.
So if I know when I leave a conversation that I had a great conversation, my mindset's going to be super, super positive, super, focused on, I need to have more of those conversations, because the more I have, the better I do and the more successful I am. But if they leave the conversation, well, I really liked you, but I'm going to go with my brother's sister's brother, who's a real estate agent, it's going to have a massive effect on my mindset. And then I'm going to be way more likely to give up, right? And quit the business and go back to selling cars or
selling timeshare.
Selling timeshare,
right? In our market, that's a real popular thing to do, or move back to the U.S. or Canada.
That's right.
Right.
And historically, timeshare salespeople that are good are really good in your organization. Mm-hmm. I know a few timeshare people that have become agents for Ronival, and their skill set is through the roof.
Why is that? Why, in your opinion, why is that?
It's a much harder sell for them. So if you're selling timeshare, you have this used car salesman type of mentality where you have to close on a very, very high level. Right. So to become really, really good in timeshare, it's almost a boiler room, Glengarry, Glen Ross, coffees for closers. And now if they're really, really hard and Grant Cardone-ish, they're not closing a lot in timeshare. But if they're really, really hard and really skilled, they're closing a ton in timeshare. Use Carrie and Loretto as the perfect example, and Danya. Those two are amazing on their skills because they were at the top of their game over there.
But does that translate? I mean, selling timeshare and then selling real estate, those are 2 different products. I mean, you're selling in timeshare kind of air, and real estate, you're selling in hard asset.
Yeah, but the reason it translates for me is because now imagine if the only thing that they need to do is to perspective change or use some type of neurolinguistic programming and say, hey, when we close on your house, think about how happy you're going to be able to entertain your family here on the holidays. Mm-hmm. They're using words that they learned in timeshare that are really, really powerful over here, that most people aren't using when they say things like, just imagine, or if they say things, I bet you're a bit like me, and this happens, they're able to utilize things and have it come across in a very soft way without trying to force somebody's opinion, making them see it and change their own opinion.
So Aaron, myself, I'm not a natural born salesperson. And when I hear that, I get kind of cringy, like that's salesman tactics. That is not genuine. It's self-serving. It's not serving the client or the customer's best interests. What do you have to say to that?
Listen, so if I'm having a conversation with you in a sales aspect, and I say, what do you understand about real estate here in Cabo San Lucas? And how did you get that information from national news or this and that? And just imagine if that's not correct, and I can show you what is actually correct and what's happening in real estate here and this and that. That sounds salesy to you?
No, and you're educating.
So the difference is I could come to you and be salesy and say, no, you're wrong. This is what's happening. And now you're going to put up a wall. Like, what? Don't tell me I'm wrong. CNN told me this. CNN has an agenda. I have an agenda. We all have an agenda. But instead of me telling you you're wrong and having some type of dissonance, I can lead you down a road for you to figure it out on your own. So change your own perspective. I don't need to change your perspective. You may need to, or, hey, I'm not sure I want to ride off from this house. And I may say something along the lines of, you mentioned to me that you wanted to be closed by this date, and it was really, really important. And, how would you feel if we didn't write an offer and this house did sell right away and we didn't find another property that fits all of these parameters? Would you be okay? I'm not being sleazy. I'm being honest. People are scared about doing these types of big transactions, and they just need to be able to figure it out on their own without somebody telling them to figure it out.
Right. I also have found and have coached our agents using past client experiences, because a lot of our current clients that we're working with and past clients, they're very similar. And so it could be by profession, it could be by the family dynamic, it could be the price range, it could be the area, it could be the property type, it could be what hobbies they like. All those things are factors into what kind of property you're buying. And when they can relate to someone that you've serviced in the past, it's golden.
Yeah, it's a testimonial. It's social proof.
Right.
And social proof. And I do the exact same thing with coaching. Right. If I have a client that I'm trying to get to do something specific in their business and they're fighting it, I say, well, can I share with you, or can I get somebody else on the call, another agent that had the same challenges, and we're able to overcome those challenges. And this is the success they're happening now. Right. Because me telling somebody how to do something is one thing, but them seeing somebody else that's like them doing it is a whole nother game.
If I'm a real estate agent, or I want to be a real estate agent, and I see all these people on the internet, social media, they're doing videos, they're very social, but I'm not social.
So you're an introvert.
Yeah, I'm an introvert, but I want to be a real estate agent. I want the freedom to make my schedule. I want to make a lot of money. I like houses. I like the process. How do I overcome that?
Why would you want to? So instead, why wouldn't we just embrace it? So let's talk about introverts. They listen better than extroverts do. They're able to absorb knowledge in a higher level and go deeper with clients. They establish much better relationships than extroverts do, because when an introvert establishes a relationship, it's sound in their mind. Right. So instead of worrying about the fact that I'm an introvert, I'm going to say, okay, what are all the things that introverts? What are the pluses? What are the great things about being an introvert, right? And then how do I apply those into my business? And I'll use, my wife's an introvert, right? When we go to a big party, she's not going to walk around and meet people because she's an introvert. And I'm an extrovert, obviously. So I walk around, I meet people, and then I bring them back to the conversation. And then she establishes way deeper relationships with them than I can. Because once she starts talking to them. So if I'm an introvert and maybe I've partnered up with another agent that's an extrovert, now they're doing this and I'm doing this, and we become a great team. We're just like dialed in. I know some amazing real estate agents that are big introverts.
Right.
And most people that are introverts aren't. There's a spot between introvert and extrovert, and it's called a biovert, and most are that. In some circumstances they're a little extrovert, and some they're a little introvert. Mm-hmm. But no matter what, we can use it. It's either a blessing or a lesson, right? Mm-hmm. So we can use it to our advantage. Right. And if we do, then you're gonna do well. But if you say, I don't want to meet anybody, and I don't want to be on video, and I don't want to do anything on social media, and I don't want to talk to anybody, mm-hmm. then real estate may not be for you. Mm-hmm. Because you can't have a contract and a check, commission, without a conversation.
Yeah.
It's impossible.
It's true. I think most introverts probably that are real estate agents or want to be, they don't like the video part. And so that's what they view as being extroverted. And I think you can be quote unquote introverted and not do those videos. I like your idea of partnering with someone. So like your wife, you could have a partner that's the one that's going out, meeting people, introducing, and then the introvert is the one doing the administration work, the scheduling, all of the paperwork, and
client follow-up. Right. They become the brand ambassador for you.
Mm-hmm. That's good. Well, I don't want to talk too much because next Friday we're going to talk a whole lot more. And another coach, Hank, mm-hmm. just confirmed he's going to be flying out. He's also a Tom Ferry coach.
He is. Hank's an amazing Tom Ferry coach. I've learned a ton from him. He's been with Tom longer than I have. And I'm super excited to have him come join us because he's a good friend as well. All so right. Hank Cassie, looking forward to it, buddy.
All right, cool. All right, Aaron, in a week, it's actually a week from today.
A week from today.
All right, we'll see you then.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, until the next one, bye for now.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Nick Fong Podcast. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast and the YouTube channel at youtube.com/Ronival Real Estate and follow Nick on Instagram at NickFong_Ronival. Ready to find your Baja dream home? Check out the latest property listings at Ronival.com or findmexicohouses.com. Hasta luego.